Demand for the FIFA World Cup here in Seattle may be a swing and a miss, at least when it comes to hotel bookings.
The United States is the problem here. People are making fun of Europeans who are coming here for the World Cup.
Okay, so remember when FIFA promised that millions and millions of people would travel to the 2026 World Cup? And remember when hotels then jacked up their prices to capitalize? Well, in a stunning development, actually nobody wants to pay $1,000 for a standard hotel room.
America may have accidentally marketed itself as a hassle, and that is a terrible brand.
The United States is the problem here. People are making fun of Europeans who are coming here for the World Cup, thinking that they can walk to the MetLife Stadium, but we're the problem. People aren't understanding this. The idea that you have a major sporting event location that doesn't have pedestrian infrastructure is unheard of for every rich nation in Europe, Africa, and Asia. This doesn't make sense. If you have a stadium for official sanctioned sporting events, why is there no pedestrian infrastructure or public transit to that location? It doesn't make sense to anyone other than an American. And the reason why I say this is because for all these rich nations, major cities have public transit. Major cities, usually the stadiums are just sitting in the city. You can easily walk to it, take a bus, take a trolley, take a train, easy to get to, okay? Even some medium-sized cities have these in other countries. You just have a train, trolley, bus right to the location, or you can walk from your hotel. The idea that a major stadium like MetLife doesn't have like tourist infrastructure around it to get there easily, normally, easy walk path and all that is not reasonable. The U.S. is the problem. The idea that in 20 years since we last hosted the World Cup, we haven't upgraded any of our systems. People complained last time, how come we can't get around? How come there are no buses? They were walking in the middle of the street, outraged at what was going on, and we haven't updated. No one would think in 20 years we wouldn't have updated our infrastructure for pedestrians and tourists and public transit. China built an entire high-speed rail system throughout the country in that span of time. And we couldn't just add more buses and some more sidewalks. That's crazy. No one would think of this. That's not reasonable. We are the problem. We're in the bad place. We are in the bad place. I'm going to say that twice because no one from a major city in a richer nation, I'm going to, say that again because that's what we call them, would think that this would be the reality. And even dumber still, the idea that you say the game is in New York, but it's actually in New Jersey, that doesn't make sense to anyone. It doesn't make sense to anyone else. Then it's not a New York game, it's a New Jersey game. But New Jersey doesn't have the infrastructure for the tourism, doesn't have the amount of hotels they would need for that particular stadium, which is not reasonable. And then you're going to charge an arm and a leg for people to take the one train that gets you there. And then if you're in New Jersey, you get charged an arm and a leg for the buses to get you there. And especially that alone, why is a rich nation charging us to catch a bus? Why is a rich nation charging us more to catch a train? It should just be the regular prices, but Americans don't understand it. We are in the bad place. We are the problem. But that's my soapbox. Y'all have a good day, because this World Cup is going to be something.
New Yorkers/New Jerseyans, you've been warned. The powers that be have decided you need to skip your regular commute and work from home. They are anticipating massive amounts of traffic and congestion due to the World Cup, which would be around June 22nd to the 30th. They are suggesting public transit only. No ride shares, including Uber and Lyft, to reduce traffic. If you do want to take public transport, the round trip from New York to MetLife is now $150. That is a 775% increase than the normal price. Also, if you want to commute to New Jersey, the New Jersey transit area of the Penn Station will now be restricted to ticketed World Cup attendees 4 hours before and 3 hours after each match, shutting out local commuters. Direct quote. Before you play the name game and say, ma'am, Donnie, fix it, just some dates. The bid was put in 2017. The U.S./New York, New Jersey was chosen 2022. The office was put in Trump Tower 2025. They had time to plan.
FIFA just bragged about selling 5 million tickets to the 2026 World Cup, but we're finding out that US host cities are about to get absolutely slaughtered because the math ain't mathin'. Because Forbes just dropped a report saying that US hotel bookings are an absolute disaster. Alright, so get this. Nearly 80% of all hotels in the 11 US host cities are tracking way below their original forecast for booking. So cities like Boston, Philly, and Seattle are calling the World Cup a non-event. And you think about this. You think about it for 1 second. It makes absolutely no sense. Because if FIFA actually sold 5 million tickets, but all the hotels are way below their expected forecasts, where the hell is everybody sleeping? And unfortunately, that leaves us with two options. Option number one, FIFA is lying about how many tickets they sold. I don't think that's true. Or option number two, scalpers, brokers, ticket agencies are taking all of the tickets to extort people on the secondary market. Welcome to America, where this is our daily life, trying to go to any sporting event or concert. So now this puts us at a massive bubble, because apparently international travelers are staying home and not going to the games because of how ridiculously expensive it is. And all of these scalpers have all of these tickets that they're trying to sell for 5x the price. So either we're going to see what always happens and people just pay these ridiculous prices, or unfortunately what I really hope happens, nobody goes to these games and these scalpers get bent over and lose millions and millions of dollars. All of this could change though. I can't predict the future, but if you want to know how this turns out, make sure you're following.
Y'all, I promise I am not trying to scare anybody, but we really do need to pay attention to what's going on here and really keep up with the news and the updates on this cruise situation, because we really didn't think that COVID was going to be as big as it was, because before it made it to us, we were getting news about it, but we just did not care. And y'all, with the World Cup, it brings in so many different people from so many different places. And I think the World Cup is going to be in Arlington. So they're making so many preparations for this World Cup. And recently, they done had a whole outbreak on a cruise ship, y'all. Now, according to the World Health Organization, the risk to the general public, they saying that it's low as of right now. But the thing that concerns me is how fast people are so eager to travel. A virus can move across country before most people can even know what's happening. So I'm saying, don't panic. I'm just saying, y'all, please stay informed. Wash your hands and pay attention to official updates. Please be mindful when you travel and try your best to try to keep a distance from other people, even if you are in a large crowd. Awareness is power. Fear helps nobody. But being informed helps everybody. Y'all be safe. And if y'all have any updates, y'all be sure to put it in the comments. Y'all be safe. Love you guys.
Consider this your warning for anybody who's planning on coming to the United States for the FIFA World Cup. Do not come. ICE is going to be present, running rampant, ruining a perfectly good event that should be a celebration of the world by spreading fear and intimidation. Do not come. It is not worth it.
America may have accidentally marketed itself as a hassle, and that is a terrible brand for tourism. The craziest part, a lot of the policies people overseas are scared of haven't even happened. For the FIFA World Cup, hotels were expecting a booking boom. Instead, international visitors are hesitating. And the explanation? Basically, talk about mass deportations, extreme vetting, visa crackdowns, student visa restrictions, more aggressive border checks, travel bans, social media scrutiny, just generally making immigration enforcement more aggressive overall and more expensive. But like I said, a lot of those policies haven't been implemented, and it's like, why have you been telling people that this is happening when in fact it's not? Tourism is unbelievably sensitive to friction, and politicians are telling people, their base, that they're going to do all these things to satisfy them, and this gets interpreted overseas as being done. And I guess in the US it's perceived as being done. Some of it has, to an extreme, been done. But the average stuff that's going to affect tourists, it's not even happening in 2026. But if people think it is, this adds friction, this adds hassles, this leads to, nope, we're not going. The government wants to sound tough domestically, crackdowns, close loopholes, America first. Well, tourists are hearing all that and going, okay, America last. This is Lang Standard.
Okay, so remember when FIFA promised that millions and millions of people would travel to the 2026 World Cup? And remember when hotels then jacked up their prices to capitalize? Well, in a stunning development, actually, nobody wants to pay $1,000 for a standard hotel room. And actually, the supposed World Cup boom is a bit of a myth. I'm Henry Bushnell, senior writer at The Athletic, and I've been reporting recently on how the influx of tourists that the World Cup was supposed to bring isn't really materializing here in the United States, or at least not yet. The American Hotel and Lodging Association released some data this week. They surveyed hundreds of members, and they reported that almost 80% of hotels in the host cities say that the pace of bookings for June and July, when the tournament will take place, is below their expectations. Now, there are several reasons for that. There are FIFA's ticket prices, of course, which have made this World Cup unaffordable for the vast majority of the world. There's also the perception that the US is unwelcoming to foreigners right now. But the hotels themselves are at fault too. Months ago, we at The Athletic looked at a sample of 6 hotels in each host city. We found that, on average, they'd raised their rates for the World Cup dates by more than 300%, from less than $300 to more than $1,000 during the tournament. Now, months later, they've realized that they misjudged demand. When I recently checked those exact same hotels, the World Cup rates in the US had come down by more than 40% from those previous peaks. Of course, some international fans will still come to the World Cup. They found Airbnbs or cheap motels. They saved up for months or years because they absolutely love this sport. And even if millions don't come from abroad, there are millions of people living here in the US, but with roots in one of the participating countries. So the World Cup will have global flavor, but as one hotel exec told me, it is not the cornucopia that FIFA talked about.
There is growing backlash tonight over the cost of ticket prices for the World Cup. The U.S. plays Paraguay in just about a month on June 12th in Los Angeles, and the cheapest ticket is currently about $1,000. Tickets for the World Cup final are averaging about $13,000. So that's 8 times higher than the last championship. FIFA did introduce some ticket prices at just $60, but data shows less than 2% of tickets were available at that price point. FIFA argues it does not set prices. Demand does.
If you were to sell tickets at the price which is too low, these tickets would be resold at a much higher price.
High hotel and transportation costs are also spoiling the fun for fans. Critics say the cost is way out of reach for most families.
Y'all want to go to Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia where they're having the World Cup, and y'all want to walk across the freeway. How does that make any sense? I understand that the rest of the world likes to get a one-up on us socially, in terms of different ways that we live. So I know that we're not very much a walking culture, but that's the government's fault because they won't make cities walkable because they hate black people. But when we say you can't walk through a 6-car highway to get somewhere, I suggest you listen. I hear you and I understand your concerns. Oh, but we walk everywhere. Y'all cities and y'all countries are built for that. Low-key kind of jelly of it. I got you, right? But Buki Bear, if you try to walk across an intersection in Georgia, you're gonna die. I was in Colorado. It was 6 cars one way, 6 cars the other way. 12-lane freeway. You're gonna die if you try to walk across that. The speed limit's 80. You're going to pass away. Get a car. Get a rental. Do what you gotta do. Because I'm telling you, it will send you straight to hell. You gonna blink after 3 steps and then already be looking at God. I understand that y'all cities are walkable, and that's good. That's not a good thing for us because we don't have walkable cities. But just for your safety, we just want to see you make it home safe. I just want to see you make it home safe. I want you to have a good time and get out of here. Really, they shouldn't be hosting the World Cup here in the first place because of the way America's been moving. But do y'all not preserve y'all safety? Y'all haven't seen Georgia State Patrol? Y'all haven't seen how people be driving on them highways in particular? And y'all think y'all gonna walk across it? Y'all think y'all gonna do a nighttime brisk? Nighttime? let alone daytime, let alone a daytime, because they don't even be caring during the daytime. But y'all think y'all gonna be able to run to the corner store through the way real fast? Y'all gonna die. Y'all gonna die.
Houston is preparing to welcome the world for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The Houston Host Committee says it spent years working with local, state, and federal public safety officials to create a safe and welcoming experience for visitors coming to the region this summer. But concerns about immigration enforcement remain top of mind for some, especially after a contentious debate at City Hall over a local ordinance tied to how Houston police will interact with federal immigration authorities. For advocates like Isidro Garza with LULAC, the debate is not abstract.
I want it to be positive. I want it to be inclusive.
LULAC wants families to enjoy the World Cup and the attention it will bring to the city of Houston, but some are still worried about what law enforcement could look like during large public events.
They're afraid to go to the grocery store, much less to go to something that's a sports event.
Now, Garza says he has tried to raise those concerns with city leaders, asking specifically how HPD would interact with ICE during major events. He says he hasn't gotten a clear answer, and we've reached out to the mayor's office, HPD, and ICE, asking what role law enforcement may play during World Cup events and what message officials have to families who may still have concerns.
Demand for the FIFA World Cup here in Seattle, maybe a swing and a miss, at least when it comes to hotel bookings. I'm Jake, I cover news here in Seattle and beyond. Follow me and we'll get through these crazy times together. See, the American Hotel and Lodging Association sent a survey to North American host cities like Seattle. They're hosting the World Cup right there at Lumen Field come June and July. 80% of respondents said hotel reservations for the World Cup are far below expectations, which is kind of staggering when you think about it. So why is this happening? Well, 70% of respondents in this survey cited geopolitical concerns in the United States as a reason for the lower forecast, which is also a concern. Maybe a reason why these numbers... A lot of trains in Seattle. Also another big reason, FIFA set aside a huge number of rooms, blocked off rooms and hotels in the area for teams and for sponsors, for big donors, and those bookings were canceled. So that may also lead to the depressed numbers that we're seeing. Now, before you tell me, hey, Jake, Seattle is a hellhole, there's no reason to go there, it's a terrible city in America, well, Seattle's not alone. Kansas City, Philadelphia, Boston, San Francisco, all are reporting this underwhelming number of hotel bookings for FIFA. Visit Seattle, which is sort of a Chamber of Commerce kind of organization here in Seattle, says don't panic, don't worry. We're expected to see a number of hotel bookings surge in the weeks leading up to the FIFA World Cup. It's a mid-June kickoff for 6 games in Seattle, so likely by June 1st, a month from now, we'll start seeing more of those hotel bookings, but this tournament is coming up quick. If you're interested in seeing a soccer match, by the way, your next move is to go to the FIFA website. You have to put in your email address and sign up for the newsletter to find out when they do the ticket draws. There may be another round of cheaper tickets before the tournament begins. No guarantee, though. Right now, one of the cheaper tickets is about $300 for the nosebleeds. That's for one ticket here in Seattle, one of the 6 matches. So if you're interested, you may want to look into getting them quick.
The World Cup starts in 33 days. The U.S. will not be prepared. They're not acting like a country that's ready to host the largest international event in the history of the world. International travel demand is at an all-time low for a World Cup. It's not only weaker than it's expected, it is almost half of what is expected. Hotels in World Cup cities are saying foreign bookings are so soft they are releasing dozens of rooms that were blocked off for World Cup fans. Fans are looking at the U.S. and seeing visa delays, phone searches, social media vetting, travel bans, political hostility, and the very real fear that they could spend thousands of dollars to come to watch a soccer game and get treated like a suspect at the border. And now the Secretary of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullins, is telling Congress and the world today that the World Cup preparations by the department in the federal government that's supposed to protect the homeland is not up to par. That they're not ready for the matches, that they're not ready for the hundreds of thousands of additional tourists and fans every single day. TSA says it's 4 to 6 months away from training new officers, and that's if they can get fully staffed today. The tournament starts in 33 days. Cyber and infrastructure security says that, well, Their outreach has been limited because they were restricted by what they could do during the funding lapse. Customs Border Protection says they were unable to buy new equipment, vehicles, aircraft, surveillance systems, and intelligence tools, and the ones they have are now in maintenance or are otherwise negatively affected. DHS officials have said that coordination with state and local partners were hindered to the point that all of their planning efforts were reduced. And they still haven't paid out $625 million in security grants to the local municipalities. So let's be clear about this. The Trump administration wants the photo op of America hosting the World Cup. That's why they pursued it during his first administration. But his administration has made America look more hostile to visitors, chaotic at the border, unstable in Congress, and underprepared inside the very department responsible for keeping this event safe. You cannot sell the World Cup as a welcome mat while governing like every foreign visitor is a threat. And now everyone in the administration seems shocked that the world is not rushing to come here. So if you're planning on coming here for the World Cup, don't. It's not safe. Go to Canada. Go to Mexico. Go anywhere but the United States.
The World Cup is now 5 weeks away. A ticket to maybe see Ronaldo play starts at $2,000, and hotel rooms across host cities are sitting empty. Here's what's happening. The American Hotel and Lodging Association surveyed hotels across 11 host cities and found nearly 80% are booking below their original projections. In Kansas City, the main stage, it's 85 to 90%, with some hotels actually performing worse than a normal summer with nothing going on. And you might be wondering why that is. Well, FIFA reserved massive room blocks across host cities early on, creating what looked like an overwhelming demand. Then they released most of them back onto the market, so hotels that thought they were sold out suddenly weren't. Meanwhile, international visitors who usually stay longer and spend more aren't planning on showing up, and there's a big reason why. A ticket to the US opener costs over $4,000. A semifinal seat in Dallas tops $11,000, and the average resale price for the final is over $16,000. When you add flights, hotels, and transportation, international fans are looking at a trip that can easily run 5 figures, and many are deciding it's not worth it. FIFA president Gianni Infantino was asked about the backlash this week and laughed it off, promising to personally deliver a hot dog to anyone who buys a $2 million ticket to the final. Critics in the hotel industry say FIFA's pricing, combined with tighter immigration enforcement from the US, has turned a generational tourism opportunity into an ordinary summer. But FIFA supporters argue that demand is unprecedented. The organization received over 500 million ticket requests, and prices simply reflect what top-tier American sports cost. So what do you think? Is FIFA outpricing the fans, or is this just the new reality of being